we should look around. Look! must get through the rift, Inquisitor. Get through, and then slam it closed with all your strength. That will banish the army of demons, and exile this cursed creature to the farthest reaches of the Faith.
The rift! We're almost there.
How about we all just shut up and run? If you would, please tell Liliana. I am sorry. I failed you.
I grow fat on your fear.
Stay strong!
You are nothing. You will die in agony.
Die, demon! We need to clear a path! Go! I'll cover you.
No, you were right. The Warden's made this mistake. The Warden must...
A warden must help them rebuild. That's your job. Corypheus is mine.
Logain. Fight well. You will not die while I draw breath. For the Warden!
She was right. Without the nightmare to control them, the mages are freed. And Corypheus loses his demon army. Though as far as they're all concerned, the Inquisitor broke the spell with the blessing of the Maker.
Once they understand what really happened,
They'll be terrified. I, for one, am tired of giving fear demons anything to feed on. Let them have their story.
Inquisitor, the Archdemon flew off as soon as you disappeared. The Venatori Magister is unconscious but alive. Cullen thought you might wish to deal with him yourself. As for the Wardens, those who weren't corrupted helped us fight the demons. We stand ready to help make up for Clorel's tragic mistake. Where is Logain?
Warden Logain is dead. Thanks to all of you. He alone stood against Clorel's madness. If not for him, you'd be dead, or slaves to a servant of the Blight. And you repaid that by branding him a traitor.
Inquisitor, we have no one left of any significant rank. What do we do now?
You stay and do whatever you can to help. Logain died, believing that the Wardens were a force for good. I'm willing to give the rest of you one final chance to prove it. You're still vulnerable to Corypheus, and possibly his Venatori. But there are plenty of demons that need killing.
After all that, you give them yet another chance?
Are you flinging these fools at demons now, my dear? Couldn't you just use rocks?
While they do that, I'll inform the wardens at Weishaupt what's happened. Best they not get caught off guard.
Thank you, your worship. We will not fail you.
Good luck with your Inquisition. Try not to start an exalted march on anything. And take care of Varric for me.
Hawk sent me one final report. He's on his way to Weishaupt. As for the Grey Wardens, they are fighting demons and Red Templars while staying clear of Venatori. Hugh dealt Corypheus a significant blow, Inquisitor.
The Grey Wardens carry respect in other nations. If we spread the word that the Inquisition has their support...
We may gain standing with nations that have suffered under the Blight. I will take the matter to Josephine. You took an army from Corypheus, but that will matter little if Orlais falls into chaos. All arrangements have been made for the ball in Halam Shiral. Let us know when you are ready to proceed.
Remind me what we know about the plot.
The Venatori are planning some kind of attack. Corypheus may even be fueling the conflict between the Empress and her If we warn Celine, she may prove a most valuable ally against Corypheus.
I'll go as soon as I am able.
Good. Cullen, Josephine, and I will discuss the... Speak with us when... What was she like? Divine Justinia, or her soul, or the spirit that took her form. I read your report. I know it isn't clear, but...
She seemed calm, serene even. And she guided us the whole way through.
That does sound like her.
She did ask me to tell you something, though. She said, I'm sorry. I failed you too.
Oh. I should finish this before it slips my mind. Perhaps later we might discuss the matter further. Thank you.
Look out, Passage moving.
Someone I knew once described Adamant to me. Adamant is, and always will be, the Order, he said. A guardian on the edge of the abyss. The lone soul that stares into oblivion and doesn't waver. That's what Warden Commander Clorel tried to be. I'm told her wardens never wavered. They went to their deaths willingly. They died for us. And Corypheus twisted their sacrifice to make it his own.
We stopped him. We saved Mo...
But not all of them. And they died thinking there's no one to blame but Corypheus. Even Clorel's intentions were righteous. Her desire to protect was so great it led... It's not right. To want to do good, to be good, and have that turned against you.
At the end of the day, I guess all we can do is try. And hope for the best.
You're right. What matters is that we never give up. Clorel made mistakes, but she was a great woman. It's not the armor or the trappings of the Order. At the heart of it, all a Warden is a promise. To protect others, even at the cost of your own life.
That'll do fine. Feels good to be back at work, Inquisition. Mountain air like this, not healthy for many animals. But up.
Farewell.
Make a be.
At your service.
How much do you know about...
Not much. I always thought the stories of Magisters... I didn't expect them to be true, and I certainly didn't expect to find one of them still alive.
Don't the Grey Wardens know...
You don't have to know how a Darkspawn came to be in order... And the world would be better off if people focused on defeating evil rather than explaining how it came to...
Corypheus stopped being human a long time ago.
No? I suppose they don't. They're unnatural. It's been thousands of... You'd think the Wardens would have managed to kill the first Darkspawn by now.
Do you know if there are more?
I don't know. I'm not sure any Warden knows.
Let's discuss something else. Let's talk about the Grey Wardens.
Ah, the Wardens. I'm afraid we're less exciting than we said.
How do the Wardens deal?
Short answer. Stick it with swords until it stops moving.
I'll trust that you know what you're talking about.
We'll manage, if it comes to that.
Have you been hearing?
I know what Corypheus is. He has no sway over...
Let's continue.
As you wish. Something on your mind?
I want to hear more about it.
Compared to yours, my life will seem dull indeed.
Your name Blackwall doesn't sound Orlesian.
I was from the Free Marchers. That was a long time ago. Another life.
I hear that many Wardens were...
You're right. And when you join, your past is forgotten, so let's leave it that way.
What did you do before...
I was a soldier, a nobody trained to whip. I grew weary of fighting up.
So you became a Warden?
More or less. Becoming a Grey Warden was the first time I felt the life I led before seems hollow in comparison.
Why did you join the...
Because they remember honor and sacrifice. Because they lay down their lives. We all need to believe there are such men in the world. I needed to believe I could be one.
We can continue the...
Very well. At your service.
What do you think of the...
I just know that you could shake this world to its foundations if you willed it.
What do you think...
Liliana is lonely. That's really all I see. I pity her sometimes, as odd as that may seem.
What do you think...
Liliana... I pity her sometimes, as odd as that...
You must have some feelings.
Madame Vivian only allied with the Inquisition. The most poisonous snakes are often the most beautiful.
What do you think of the Inquisition?
Restoring order is a goal I support. But that's not the end of it, is it? The Lady Seeker believes we are restoring the Chantry. Others... I don't know where you stand on the matter, and I'll admit I haven't made up my mind either.
I went to Warden Loghain to give my respects. He knew me. He even remembered best commander this world.
Writing does not come naturally to me, as I'm certain you can imagine.
Are you alright?
I am. This needs to be done before I... As if written by a dim wit. Historians will one day ask what happened at Ad... I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. It must be recorded.
That's an excellent idea, Cassandra.
I certainly thought so. Until I still don't know what to say about the spirit of the divine. I saw her there, heard her voice. The Chantry teaches us that the souls of the dead pass through the Fade, so it could have been her. Yet even...
Do you really think it might have been her?
A ghost. A remnant of her hopes and memory. Those things are all possible. Nobody... A spirit could have assumed it helped you, as Justinia herself would have.
Perhaps it doesn't matter what she really was then.
It matters to me, to what I must write. I must interpret what I saw, yet I am no priest, no philosopher. I am a warrior.
I believe it was the Divine. She helped us one last time.
I hope that's true. When I realized we were physically in the Fade, I was... The last time such a thing happened, we created Darkspawn. We created Corypheus. The world needs to know the truth this time. No more legends lost to the ages. What do you need, my friend?
Do you have any advice for me?
Now that the Grey Warden threat is dealt with, one can only hope it's not too late. More chaos in Olay only helps Corypheus.
So,
Yes, what of it?
so under that taciturn shell beats a true romantic heart.
Why must it be an accusation? Romance is not the sole province of dithering. It is passion. It is being swept away by the pursuit of an ideal. What is not to like about that?
Oh, I quite agree with you.
Then why are you laughing at me?
I wasn't.
I will never hear the end of this, will I? It's good to see you.
I have some more questions.
As you wish.
Tell me about your brother.
Anthony was older than I, a dragon hunter, who showed I idolized him. I wanted to hunt. Anthony promised to train me in secret. We would hunt, and then he died on me.
That sounds really awful.
It was the end of it. A group of apostates wanted dragon blood. He refused, and they killed him. I begged the Chantry to let me become a Templar. Instead, it took many years to let go of my drive for vengeance.
So you blamed all mages for the actions of a few apostates?
I was young. Magic was frightening. I sometimes wonder how different my life would be if would I be a dragon hunter? Married to some noble... I take solace in believing the Maker has a plan, but he is not always...
I'll let you...
It's good to see you.
May I ask you about the
It is difficult to... They have no Templars, no leadership, and no one left who... It has fallen apart when everyone needs it the most. I ache to think what this will mean in the days to come.
Do you really believe the Chantry is...
I do. Though I understand how someone... Cast the Chantry aside and new problems replace old ones. The people need stability. And the... Andraste had a dream for us. It can still be achieved.
So what should that new...
A dedication to what is... Instead of building cathedrals and sewing gowns for the divine, the Chantry used to spend its coin. If we are to spread the Maker's word across the world, we must do so with open hearts and open hands.
That sounds rather...
Does it? I do not think it's so unachievable. The Chantry has many good, honest people. They just need... They need to be freed from centuries of adherence. A chance for renewal is at our fingertips. It does not have to come with utter chaos.
Will the Chantry replace...
They will try. Once the priests withdraw for the Grand Consensus, it is against Chantry law. Sometimes it takes days. Oh, the problem now is that no clear successor to Justinia exists. All worthy clerics died with her at the Conclave.
So what happens if they can't agree on something?
Theoretically, they will argue until exhaustion takes them or they see reason. Practically, however, if the Grand Consensus goes... Any cleric with ambition but little sense will see this as her one chance, and plenty of such We shall see what happens. The Inquisition must act in the meantime.
If they do choose a new divine...
That depends on whether she would have me. And even if she would, I do not know. I am no longer in a position to follow blindly, and no new divine could expect such obedience now.
I'm surprised you rebelled against the...
I left my own order when they took the wrong path. But in neither case did I stop caring. Indeed, I care so much that I suppose history shall one day judge my actions.
Thank you.
He wants what? I don't know. I just brought the message.
Commander Cullen did good work at Adamant. Breached those walls like he'd done it a dozen times. Nice job with the demons, by the way.
Can you think of any other task?
You sealed the main rift at Adamant, but the fortress is still a mess. Demons, dark. I can take Rocky out there with some of the boys. They know how to bring down... We can't close rifts, but we can bury the bastards under a ton of rubble.
We'll talk.
Again. Again. Come on! This is why the Qun doesn't like women fighting. I should have asked Cullen. Good one.
Perhaps you can take over.
Qunari training exercise to master your fear. I heard about the nightmare at Adamant. Sounded big.
Can you explain why I'm supposed to...
Probably, if I try. It'd involve a lot of Qunari. Just hit me with the stick, all right? I need to get over this demon crap.
All right.
There we go. Damn demons! Who's stuck in the fade, huh?
You fought in that siege. Every demon in Adamant...
I bet, you demon assholes! And who killed you? That's right, Iron fucking Bull! I needed that. Thanks, boss.
Anytime.
Pleasure as always, boss.
So how did you get the name Iron Bull?
I picked it. You know how it is. Even growing up Talvashath, your parents had to tell you about... I figure your parents chose yours the same way. Nice going on a Dar, by the way. Weapon. I like that.
But why specifically?
This may surprise you, but also it's the Iron Bull, technically. It makes it sound like I'm not even a person, just a mindless... That really works for me.
I'd like to know more about your work with the
Ben Hasrath is actually a general term. You've got the secret police you've got the re-educators who take people with problems and fix their minds. And then you've got the spies.
How do the...
I only know the basics. Wasn't my errand. Keep a man awake long enough. Ask the right questions, give the right potions, and you can get him... You don't need blood magic or demons to change someone's mind. We're a lot more fragile than we'd like to believe.
My parents told me stories about what the re-educators did.
Yes, you were lucky your parents got away. The weak minds get bent into the right shape. They'd have given you a poison called Kamek. You'd have been a polite, happy lady, and you'd have had a handler to help you eat and make sure you didn't crap your pants.
And you're a spy?
Close. I am now, I suppose. They sent me to Saharan because they needed someone who could fight and hunt. That whole island was a sack of cats. Incursions from Tevinter, Tal-Vashath, and native rebels fighting both. And in the middle, me, trying to wrangle the rebels and restore order.
You seem like the type who enjoy...
There's a good fight, and there's finding out who put rat poison in the bread and killed a bunch of children. I hunted down a lot of rebels. Lost a lot of friends to the Vince or the Fop. One day I woke up and couldn't think of a damned reason to keep doing my job. Turned myself into the re-educators.
Not many people would have...
I thought about letting some rebel kill me, but I couldn't get... The Ben Hasrath ordered me to go to Orlais, ostensibly as a Talvish. That's how I ended up here.
That's, damn.
You did ask. Anyway. Ah! Come on, Krim. I'm working my ass off trying to get you to see that move.
You still got plenty of arse left, Chief. Your worship.
Glad you came by. I got a letter from my contacts in the Ben Hasrath. Already verified it with Red.
You want to discuss this alone?
Not like I was hiding it from my boys. Besides, right now, I need to hit something.
You know they've got training dummies, Chief.
The training dummy might actually defend itself against the shield bash. Anyway, the Ben Hasrath letter.
What did the letter say?
The Ben Hasrath have been reading my reports. They don't like Corypheus or his Venatori. And they really don't like... They're ready to work with us. With you, boss. The Qunari and the Inquisition, joining forces.
That would be an unprecedented offer, if I believed it was legitimate, which I don't.
Now, ordinarily that would be the way to go, but they've identified themselves. They're not running a game. They found a massive red lyrium shipping operation out on the coast.
They wanted us to hit it together. Talked about bringing in one of their dreadnoughts. Always wanted to see one of those big warships in action.
Did you see that? Go get some water. They're worried about tipping the smugglers, so no army. My charges, you, maybe some backup.
What does this alliance
They wouldn't use the word alliance if they... Naval power. More Ben Hasrath reports. Qunari soldiers. It could do a lot of good.
You don't seem entirely...
No, I'm good. I'm used to them being... over there. It's been a while.
I thought Qunari wanted to extend their reach to the...
Yeah. Just didn't think I'd... Look, the Qun answers a lot of questions. But it's a big change. And a lot of folks here wouldn't do so well. I guess it's not like we're converting. This is just us joining forces against Corypheus. On that front.
I think the Inquisition could use some...
Good. I'll pass on word to Cullen and Red.
Adamant's influence continues, your worship. I submit Lord Livius Erimond of Virantium, who remains loyal to Corypheus. We found him alive, offering extreme resistance, likely because the Order will ask for his head. In more colorful terms. To say nothing of justice you might personally require for what was suffered in the Fade.
Countless better men and women than you are dead. Why shouldn't this be quick?
I recognize none of this proceeding. You have no authority to judge me.
On the contrary, many officials have communicated that they will defer to the Inquisitor on this matter.
Because they fear. Not just Corypheus, but Tevinter, rightful ruler of every piece of ground ye trod in your pathetic life. I served a living god. Bring down your blades and free me from the physical. Glory awaits me.
You are the worst of us. The damage you have done is beyond all reckoning. A mage's crime, a mage's punishment. Lord Livius Erimond of Virantium, I deny you death. Tranquility.
You cannot! I am a lord, you pissants! I will not lose myself!
Isso aqui não foi uma péssima ideia. Tem como voltar o save, não?
In fact, she surrendered to us. She requests no mercy. She wants the public justice of the headman's axe.
Asking for no mercy seems
There is no excuse for my actions. I murdered another of the Order.
Accepting their actions while thralls of Corypheus, many treaties allow warded...
I can't do it. It is wrong that this broke me. I've done worse with full sanction. I can do nothing except be an example of the cost.
We doubt when we're safe. When blight is not at our throat.
Não quero saber, porra, não é pro. Tá, tranquilidade pra ele. Foda-se.
Another of the lingering pains of Adamant, your worship. Sir Ruth is a senior warden. She was one of the many who slit the throat of another to bind a demon. In fact, she surrendered to us. She requests no mercy. She wants the public justice of the headman's axe.
You're very serious about this. Is more death the answer?
There is no excuse for my actions. I murdered another of the Order.
Accepting their actions while thralls of Corypheus, many treaties allow wardens any extreme if it's...
I can't do it. I can't use the greater good to justify my crimes. It is wrong that this broke me. I've done worse with full sanction. I can do nothing except be an example of the cost.
We doubt when we're safe. When blight is not at our throat. I can't judge a warden, Sir Ruth. No one has that right.
You have more faith in the Order than we ourselves have.
Hell yeah.
I guess the hero of River Dane's story finally came to an end. Loghain was the Ferelden ideal, you know, the common boy who freed his... He helped to end the Fifth Blight. The rest aside, that made him a hero. He wasn't the first good man to fall to Corypheus. He won't be the last. His story's no good for heroes.
You must be glad that Hawk made it back in one piece.
Yep. Closest thing I've ever seen to a miracle there. Oh, Hawk asked me to tell everyone back in Kirkwall where he's going. Baker's breath. Isabella's going to be furious. I'd better write some letters. Excuse me. Sorry, I really need to write some letters.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to hear more about what...
I would be happy to share it with you.
Tell me about the old...
I found the ruin of Barandur, a lost Tevinter city buried deep beneath. Volcanic ash had sealed it tight. In one dark moment, every living creature, they were statues in the ashes, like a mold made to recall the lost.
Tell me about a spirit you encountered.
I met a friendly spirit who observed the dreams of village girls as love first blossomed in their adulthood. With subtlety, she steered them all to village boys with gentle hearts, who would the matchmaker, so I called her. That small village never knew its luck.
Tell me about the old memories you found in the Fade.
I saw a savage human horde go marching toward the battlefront. They sang a soldier's hymn. Primal music shook the ground. These savage, unwashed warriors carried, though their cause was all but hopeless. They sang songs that made the spirits weep.
We'll talk.
Goodbye. How can I help?
I'd like to hear more about what you saw.
I would be happy to share it with you.
Tell me about the...
I found an ancient dwarven thaig no longer sheltered by the stones. 1,000 dwarven corpses lay, the victims of a darkspawn horde. Their last in the middle, one small body, clutching tightly to a small stuffed toy.
Tell me about a spirit.
The Alamari crossed the Frostback Mountains to escape a beast they called the Shadow Goddess, and I met the spirit that they fled. She walks the Fade along the southern tundra. Great Ferelden formed because a lonely spirit drove her prey away.
Tell me about the old memories you found in the Fade.
I saw a dwarf emerge into the light of day and shield his eyes against the sun. The tears were streaming from his eyes. I thought them from the blazing light. Then he laid the rock down gently, and he left it as he walked away.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye. Good afternoon.
I'd like to hear more about what you...
I would be happy to share it with you.
Tell me about the old...
I found in the Gokari wilds a humble cottage far removed from any of the simple chase. The trees and weeds had not reclaimed the home, nor did the chastened dare to come and steal the trinket. It was empty, long abandoned, but the world feared that you might return.
Tell me about a spirit you...
I found an ancient spirit who had once been undisputed king of almost like pride or rage. It was the Fade's reflection of a feeling. When they've forgotten, said the spirit. There remains no word for what I was.
Tell me about the old memory.
I saw a young Canary working in a simple kitchen, baking bread as she was. In every loaf, she broke the rules. She'd take a pinch of sugar and fold it into and this act of small rebellion brought a shining smile across her face.
We'll talk later.
Good. How can I help?
I'd like to hear more about what you...
I think I have shared everything of note. I should spend some time encountering more stories.
I need to know more about...
You've taken his army. He lacks... He must see or lay destroyed utterly by whatever means possible. Not merely through...
We'll...
You have remarkably little here on early Tevinter history. All these gifts to the Inquisition, and the best they can do is the Malefica Imperio. Trite propaganda. But if you want 20 volumes on whether Divine Galatea took a shit on Sunday, this is evidently the place to find it.
If I knew what you were looking for, I could...
Because you're a mage? Considering education standards in the South, that's hardly a recommendation. I apologize. That was unworthy. Did I see something by Genitivi here? I could have sworn.
What is this about, Dorian?
When everyone returned, they told us about your tumble into the Abyssal Rift. You went into the Fade. Physically went in. Are you... all right?
I learned a surprising amount. What happened at the Temple of Sacred Ashes, for one.
Regained your memories. That's good, then.
I think so.
You do realize this feat hasn't been performed in over 1,000 years. Corypheus and his contemporaries entered the Fade and began the Blights. In comparison.
So I should be happy I accomplished...
Concerned, more like. If you can walk in the Fade, others will try to follow. Not all of them will be as lucky as you. My advice? Keep this quiet. Let them speculate. Too many will see this as a challenge.
You don't number among them.
It's tempting, but I'm no fool. There are enough idiots in the world who think if they just use enough blood magic, they're problem. It's exactly the sort of thing I want to stop back home. What I do need is a copy of the Liberalum. I'll wager if I can prove he was a grasping ankle-biter with no family to speak of, the luster would come right off. Wish me luck. Questions.
If you require any of... You've made such intriguing design choices for the castle, my dear. They must be inspired.
I strive to match your elegant sense of style.
When things have settled down a bit, I will take you to Valroyo and appearances are important. We can't have you mistaken for a commoner.
What's wrong with being a commoner?
There's nothing wrong with your birth, my dear, but you need to be You command an army of the faithful. You must be a man who the common folk aspire to be and to whom the nobility bow.
And you think I can accomplish this?
It is a weapon in your arsenal. Don't overlook it, my dear. As the stories of the Inquisition spread, more and more people... They will question what they've heard, but they will believe what they see. They must see someone greater than legends.
If that's your standard for me, what does the Divine have to live up to?
Andraste and the Maker cast very large. The Divine absolutely must set the example for all Thedas. She needs the authority of the Maker. It will be no small task. Did you need something, darling?
What are your thoughts about the others in the Inquisition?
Our dear Lord Dorian is very sure of himself, isn't he? Do you need something, my dear?
What are your thoughts about the...
Sarah is certainly a colorful character. Do you need something, my dear?
What are your thoughts about the...
Sarah is certainly... Do you need something, my dear?
I wanted to ask you about the Circle of Magi.
Of course. What do you wish to know?
If the Circle disbanded...
The Circle is an idea, my dear. Many of the first enchanters voted for rebellion, caring little that anything short of a unanimous... Rather than dissolving it, Grand Enchanter Fiona's vote split the Circle in two. The rebels follow her. The loyalists follow...
If you lead all the loyalists, why are you only first enchanters?
Grand Enchanters are elected, and since there are no first enchanters, but I could name myself Grand Enchanter, but the title holds no meaning now. When the circles are restored, that will...
What was it like?
My dear, your question is the root of... I cannot tell you. Every circle was different. Their Templars were different. And every person within each tower had an Some people suffered and some were content. Some were cruel, The same is true of people everywhere, in all circumstances, whether they are mages or not.
So, tell me about your personal experience.
I enjoyed life in the Montsimard Circle, my dear. And there is comfort to be had, you know, in the company of fellow mages. Those born without magic will never truly understand us.